out of the divorce, I got $600,000.
The
Yes.
Why?
That was part of our settlement. So I could have taken more, but I didn't, which I'm kind of now regretting a little.
Wait, why could you have taken more and why didn't you?
Well, I could have, because if I were doing like a divorce with like 50-50 split, I would have gotten.
Could you have done 50-50 split?
I could have.
So this was a pretty well-to-do person.
Yes. So I don't know exactly
No
how
prenup?
much I would have. No, he tried to get me to sign a prenup, and then I didn't sign a prenup, and then he tried to get me to sign a postnup, and I didn't sign a postnup.
Post-nut.
Yes. And so, yeah, we decided in the settlement agreement that I would get $600,000 because I didn't want to take
Why
more.
the do I have so much debt here to go through on your end? Where did the $600,000 go? When did you get the $600,000?
2 years ago.
Okay, where the is it?
It's gone. Completely gone.
Into where?
Well, I bought a house. And
With the $600,000?
with the 600,
Okay, so it's not gone.
It's not gone, right?
It's tied up?
So I bought a house that was $330,000, and I bought it like outright. So like it's paid in full. So I don't
so
have.
it goes half the cash.
Yes. But then I bought it sight unseen.
What?
And so when we entered the home.
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw the outside because I drove by it. But
Oh, good, you
when
drove by it.
Yeah. When we entered the home, though, it was in shambles. So we had to renovate it completely, like gut job. So we saved some money by tearing everything down ourselves. But the renovation was like $100,000.
Talk about someone who doesn't know how to handle money. For the man who married her, when she didn't sign that prenup, the engagement ring on her fingers should have ended up in the trash bin. Brethren, you deserve what you got.
It's my turn!
Men, and message is for all the divorced men. I need you to listen to me. And the reason why it's for divorced men is because we don't do our due diligence. Most women, when they get divorced, they really do their due diligence. Most of us just fall by the wayside. There's a reason why they tell you to keep your divorce decree forever, right? So let's go into the story. So my buddy, his father recently passed away. And while he was in hospice or while he was transitioning, his father gave him power of attorney. To say, hey, son, you can just handle everything and handle my affairs. And he was a veteran as well. So the father went to the bank and he realized he had all the account numbers and access and stuff like that. His father gave it to him. And the life insurance policy, his father had a lot of life insurance policies, with work and things of that nature. So long story short, his father, had bank accounts that had a pretty substantial amount of money in it. So he went to go to the funeral home. The funeral home said, well, he paid for a plot and everything. We have that and everything, but we need his wife's signature for her to sign off this. And he was like, what do you mean? He said they have a 2-plot. So we need to, her signature. He was like, my father has been divorced for over 30 years. And I don't really talk to my mother. We don't have a very good relationship. He said, well, in order for us to do this, we need her signature. All right. So he calls his mother. That triggered his mother to start scheming. So then his mother went to the bank where she knew where my buddy's father was. He was a very methodical man, and wiped out all the accounts that he had. Wiped them out, took all the money out, all of it, right? Then went and said, well, let me look at the house that he lived in. It was paid for. And was like, well, I want to sell it. He put it on the deed. Most of us men that we call providers and everything else, when we do get married, we want to make sure that the wife has access to it because we don't really think that this is going to end. We think, well, it's going to end with me in the ground, so let me make sure you put, on everything. But when you get a divorce, you forget that you got to go back to around and circle back at all those other places and get it taken care of and get it removed. So his mother wiped out all of the accounts, all the accounts. And thank God that, VA pays for pretty much some things and whatever. He had some money saved up to bury his father the right way. But all the life insurance policy, he had a couple of life insurance policies for him, the kids and everything, because he wanted to make sure his kids were taken care of in his death. She was like, I'm taking that. And I got to say, this made me look at my stuff, and I'm going to make it personal. I realized that my ex-wife was on a lot of stuff. I did not even know none of the stuff that I put on. I forgot. You have to go to Social Security Administration, and you have to let them know that you're divorced. I didn't know I was supposed to do. I thought it just happened, just happened circumstance. I didn't even know. I just thought, once I get a divorce, it goes in some system and everybody gets it. No, it doesn't. You have to let the state you were married in know that you're divorced. Sometimes some they have it and some they don't. I had to call my 401k. She wiped out his entire 401k. She did this in a matter of weeks, right? And he couldn't, because he had a power of attorney, they gave him some information, but he never took his wife off of anything, his ex-wife off of anything. She wiped him clean, right? And now the son is trying to fight this. You imagine you have to fight your mother for stuff that's not right. And even the lawyer said, unfortunately, yeah, you got a divorce decree, but because of certain laws or whatever, I don't understand too much. You may, with the government, you may end up saying, hey, she doesn't deserve this money. She gets survivor benefits, and you can fight that. But the rest, the life insurance policy and everything else, you can't do anything about it. You can try. And with the house, because she was on the deed and the house is paid for, it's technically her house. He has to fight his own mother for that. So men, what I'm saying, when you get a divorce decree, just don't let it sit somewhere. Hey, do your due diligence and go to these different places and get these things done. I didn't, like I said, with me, I didn't know. I had to check some stuff and I'm like, holy crap, I didn't know I was supposed to do this. And I'm taking off to get these things done because I don't want my son to have that level of hindrance. You have to understand something. You don't know people, right? And it's not saying that your ex-wife or your whatever will do anything. I'm not saying that, but you don't know what level someone will be in when they see a certain substantial amount of money. And your kids have to get these things done for you in your timely demise and when you're transitioning. So make it a little bit more smoother for them. And a lot, like I said, men, we do this. I'm a victim of this. I thought the same thing. And this even happened to my sister, my actual sister, where you have to get these things done. And it's such a headache for our kids to get these things done. And we think that these things happen automatically. Even at my job, I didn't know. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I thought I did this. And they said, no, you didn't. I said, well, I thought that if I called the person and sent them an email, we think things are simple, and it's not. So do your due diligence. Even if some of you are getting prepared to get remarried to someone, you may want to get remarried. Something may happen to you. You are hindering them from doing what they need to do for you in your transition. Whether you get another wife, whether you get, whatever you decide to do, but you're hindering them from doing that. And you're giving a lot of power back to your past, and you shouldn't do that. So I'm asking a lot of men, right? Because we do this, because I talked to my buddy. He said he didn't even think about it. He looked at some accounts and he realized his ex-wife is off there and he's been divorced for over 10 years from her. And he was like, oh man, I didn't know what I put on there. A lot of us do things and we forget. All right. So I want you to take this information and do something with it and do your due diligence. And make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's, because you don't want this to happen to you. All right. You don't want this to happen to you. And like I said, even me, I had to look and I'm like, when I was shocked when I seen this, I was like, oh man, it's like 10, 15 different things that my ex-wife is still on that I never thought about, and yes, it's illegal. Yes, it is. But look, man, a person, they don't care. People will cross that bridge when they come to it, type of thing, So please, men, do your due diligence. Go out there, get their stuff done. And trust me when I tell you, you will probably be surprised. All right. You'll be surprised at how much stuff you forgot. And I know, like I said, I know. A lot of times it's a headache and we don't think that it's worth it. Trust me, my buddy's going through it. He's going through it. All the things that his father prepared for is gone. And his mother is remarried to another man. So you have to understand that money is going to another man and not you. And that generational wealth that you wanted to keep for your children as you go and transition is going to another family, if you want to look at it that way, right? Whatever way you need to look at it to motivate you to get up and go get this stuff done, please check this stuff out. Even me, I got to take off and get some stuff done. Take care.
For you divorced men or about to be divorced men, make plans to get your ex-wife's name off of your financial documents. The courts will probably give her half of your estate and other money during the divorce. She should not have access to a single more cent of your hard-earned money. Remove her name from your bank accounts, the insurance policies, the house, and any and all documents. There's nothing a man can do if his wife qualifies for Social Security survivors benefits based on his work history. Just deal with it. You can't do a thing about it. Before you get married, my lions, here's some tips on how to predict if you're going to have a divorce.
There is a world-renowned marriage counselor named John Gottman, and John Gottman has been studying marriages his entire career. That's all he does, is study marriages. He has a whole team of people that studies them. And he claims that he can predict whether or not a couple is going to get divorced with a 91% accuracy rate within the first 10 minutes of meeting them if they show the signs of fruitless fighting. Do you want to know what those signs are? It's scientifically proven that if you show all these signs, your marriage is in trouble. Well, the first sign is what we call harsh startup. Harsh startup means we need to talk. The harsh startup is you did it again. The harsh startup is beginning the conversation already abruptly, already negatively, and already with a hostile attitude. Well, the next sign is actually four things. Gottman calls it the four horsemen. It's defensiveness, contempt, which we've already talked about, criticism, and stonewalling. Those are the four horsemen that together make up the next sign of divorce. Now, what is stonewalling? Stonewalling, which is when one person in the couple is just not responding. Stonewalling is, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Maybe looking out the window, you're having a conversation, but they're not looking at you. They're not really telling you how they feel. You don't really know what's going on inside of them. Appears like that person doesn't even care. The next sign is very much related to the previous four. It's called flooding. Flooding is when you have so many feelings that you can't even speak them. So they're so flooded with feelings, they can't tell you how they feel. It's not that they don't have a feeling. They've got so many, they can't pick one. And flooding is very dangerous because it leads to the next sign. The next sign is physiological distress. If you've been allowing the conflict in your marriage to go on for so long, the anger to not get resolved for so long, you're going to start having physical problems. You're going to start having ulcers, backaches, neck aches. You're going to start drinking more. You're going to start having physiological problems. You're going to start failing from the inside. The last two signs of marriages that are in distress that leads towards divorce are bad memories and failed repair attempts. What does bad memories mean? What it means is you interpret history negatively. You're only remembering the negative things from the past. It's like, yeah, I remember our wedding. Yeah, he was late. He was late to that. He's still late today. You forget all the good things and you remember all the bad things. You're reinterpreting history negatively. Bad memories, bad sign, leading to bad things in your relationship. And the last thing is failed repair attempts. This is really critical. Everybody fights. Even good marriages fight. Fighting in a marriage is not a problem. The problem is, what are you going to do about it? And the really critical thing is to be able to repair what you did. Fighting isn't a problem. Not being able to repair it is. And repair attempts can be simple. It can be as simple as coming to a common understanding. It can be as simple as communicating that you're on the same side. But you've got to have the ability to get back on the beam. You've got to have the ability to get back on track again. You've got to have the ability to repair. Most marriages never really solve their problems. Yeah, I know, that's sad news, but it's true. Gottman has discovered this, that you will spend most of your marriage fighting about the same issues over and over and over again. You're never going to see child rearing the same way. You're never going to see your in-laws the same way. You're never going to manage money the same way. You're never going to do lots of things the same way. You'll come to a common enough agreement to live with the difference between the two of you. But for most things that you fight about, you never do come to a common understanding of them. So why do people fight? You fight because you want to be connected. You feel disconnected and you're fighting to be reconnected. You think you're fighting about money, you think you're fighting about her parents, but you're not. You're fighting because I need to feel connected to you and I don't. And if you feel reconnected to each other, then the subject that you're fighting about doesn't become as important. In psychology, we say the thing is never the thing. And what I mean by that is you think you're fighting about something, you're not. You're fighting about whether or not we feel connected. And once we do feel connected, the thing all of a sudden doesn't seem so important.
Hold tight. Me gone again.